I'm so excited to see you're a part of Fountain of Youth, this new John Krasinski film with Natalie Portman. Where
Yeah,
did this project find you?
it was funny because I'd actually been in front of Guy Ritchie a couple of times for like The Gentleman, and you know how in this industry sometimes it goes a different way or whatever. Uh, and then but the casting director Dan Hubbard, who kind of gave me my first big break, he which just kept putting me in front of Guy, kept putting me up, and then the role of Harold came up, and at the time I had no idea. With tapes coming, the auditions come in and you do them. I did this ethos of just doing it and sending it and forgetting it. I wasn't really, I knew it was a guy thing. I knew it was for guys. So I was like, okay, it could be cool. And then within a week, I got the call and then it's gone up to Skydance for approval. And I didn't know that I was going to be working with Natalie Portman until pretty much 2 days before I got to set. I went to a wardrobe fitting and the head of wardrobe was like, so have you worked with Natalie before? I was like, Natalie, no, not Natalie. She went, Natalie Portman. And I was like, what?
Well, I'm glad that must have helped with nerves, so you didn't
No,
have.
I was terrified, absolutely petrified. So that's how it came about. Just from Dan Hubbard, this amazing casting director who he kind of always championed me. He got me in the room, and then we found a role that fitted me, or the kind of the feel of the movie and what he wanted, and he just went from there.
How did they describe then Harold to you? Or maybe his breakdown was different from what ended up being on screen, because maybe they
This,
gave you like a little, they sometimes always don't always give you like the proper person
mm,
that you'll be playing.
no, they it was quite a good, it was a good detailed breakdown as it always is. But what I tend to do is always go the other way. I found that I've had more success and landed more roles from not doing the opposite, but like coming with an idea rather than like doing exactly what it says in the script and like exactly trying to be this kind of guy. Because then all the actors they'll see, they tend up seeing the same guy, same role, same guy, same guy. So what I tend to do is make a decision on kind of person he is, and then maybe he wouldn't deal with things that way. And then it helps because then the casting director's like, oh, that's something I didn't even think about. And I did that with Harold. They'd said that he was, quite bitter, wealthy guy, and was a real thorn in the side. Uh, but I just made some decisions. I made some decisions that he didn't want to have the break. He didn't want to go through the divorce. It was actually all her fault. That's why he wasn't just an angry guy. It was like actually he wanted it to work and he didn't want to go through all this nonsense. And they've got a kid, and he wanted to make it work. So I went in with that energy, like, this is all on you. It's like I'm not the bad guy. You're the bad guy, because you're the one that wants to do this. And yeah, it worked. And then I found myself on set in this incredible movie with working with Natalie, which was just unreal.
I was just about to say, she's quite the scene partner, I'm sure. What was it like for you getting to work with her?
It was honestly the most exhilarating and most terrifying experience I've had so far. I've been very lucky to work with some wonderful actors, Liam Neeson and Brian Tyree Henry, and I just did a movie with Mark Wahlberg, who was also wonderful. But Natalie, I've been a big fan of Natalie since Leon, the professional, which I thought is one, Gary Oldman, Natalie Portman, just Luc Besson, just one of the greatest. One of the reasons I wanted to become an actor in the first place. So I was very, very nervous. So I'm on the way to set, and this is typical of Guy Ritchie. It was my first Guy Ritchie project. I'm on the way to set. It's meant to be a night shoot for the first scene, and the first AD called me while I was in the car on the way to base camp. He's like, Dan, right, so Guy's changed his mind. He wants to make it now. He loves the light. It's the golden hour. So we've got like 45 minutes to get the shot. So we're not going to do it at night shoot. We're going to do it in the golden hour where you open the door, da da da. So we're just going to whiz you straight into hair and makeup, straight into costume, straight to set. So I was like, oh, okay. How far are we? I said to the driver, I said like 50 minutes, fine. We got there. I literally flew for hair and makeup, flew into costume, car waiting for me, drove me straight to set. And they like bundled me through like 200, huge set, bundled me through all these people. And suddenly I'm bam. And it was the first time I'd actually met Guy. So I'm standing there in front of Guy Ritchie and Natalie Portman. And because we're against the clock, Guy's like, Dan, brilliant, mate, excellent. Right. So we've got no time. So let's just come up straight in. Didn't have time to think about it. And then the biggest bomb he dropped was, I don't really, I'm not really feeling the scene as it's written. Let's just like improvise. And I'd obviously learnt my lines diligently. And so I'm finding myself being rushed around, standing there, and I'm on my mark, ready to go. And Guy's there, and Natalie's opposite me. He's like, Natalie, so yeah, you've just come from da da da. So just, what would you say? What would you say to him? You come to get your boy, what would you say? So Natalie looked at me and just started improvising. And Guy was like, yeah, excellent. So then Guy looked at me and was like, as if to say, and what do you say? And so at that point, the terror left me because I was like, this is the big leagues now. I'm here with an Oscar-winning actress. I need to represent. So I just all of the fear just left, and I just was just Harold, and I just gave it to her back just because she was coming with quite a lot of attitude. So I just was right back at her, and he was like, yes. And then we just bounced backwards and forwards. He was like, yes, 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 right. And Guy worked so quickly. He was actually right, we got it. Okay, we're shooting in five, four, three. And is he counting down? Like everyone on set is running. Like there's such a well-oiled machine. They're all running around, getting into position, da da da. DOP's getting the frame, da, da, and then action, boom. And off we went. And we were just improvising. And it was honestly, the most freeing, most incredible experience to be there with Natalie and just to improvise with her. Honestly, it was, like I said at the beginning, terrifying and just incredible experience.
Where did you get to film for this?
So this this is funny. When I first got the offer, they're like, oh, okay, so the locations are like Egypt, Thailand, Vienna, and then when I got the offer, I was like, it's gonna be amazing. All my stuff was in London, so but I take it. Look, it was in beautiful locations around St. Paul's, this gorgeous house, which was meant to be our house in Greenwich. Uh, yeah, so I didn't get to go to the wonderful locations, but it was still incredible.
That sounds like quite a memorable set. Did you and Natalie get to talk about
We
those
did.
moments where
We
she
did.
inspired you?
We were rushed. It was so fast because we were against the clock because the sun was going down. At the end, when we wrapped, and it was so quick, we literally like two takes, turn around, two takes, right, close up, two takes, close ups, two takes. And at the end, I just went to Natalie because I was just a bit like shell shocked. I was like, is it always like you always improvise? She said, every single scene in this movie improvised. So she said, like, just learn your lines, but you get ready to improvise because the next scene you're going to be improvising, next scene you'll be improvising. And she was right. And she said, this is actually really good. Laz Alonso, who I'm also a really massive fan of from The Boys and from his what incredible work before, Avatar. Um, I was speaking to Laz as well at one point, and he was like, it's so electric because all the actors have to be plugged in. You have no time. It's like that's how Guy gets this such punchy work because you're improvising. It's so honest and truthful because there's the first time you're saying it, first time you're hearing it, so you're able to react. And this is why Guy is so amazing. But yeah, Natalie was like, "Get ready because it's every scene's going to be like this."
Was then the first scene your most memorable time being a part of the film, or did you have another scene where you're just
Yeah,
proud of the work you put in?
I think the first scene was the most memorable because it was my first time meeting Guy and Natalie and my first time on set with them. And because it was so, like I said, so fast and so exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. But and the next scene with the lawyer, there's another scene in the movie where we're at the lawyer and we have this moment. And again, that was amazing. And I got Natalie had her daughter with her, so we were hanging out, and I'm a dad as well, so we were chilling and just hanging out and just around. We had this beautiful view of St. Paul's, and it was just that was another really poignant moment where I was actually had the time to go. This is really amazing. I'm so lucky. I'm such a lucky guy to be able to do this. So that was really poignant and yeah, memorable. And hanging out with Guy. Guy challenged me to a push-up, a push-up challenge. He was like, "What? You got good chest, on you? How many push-ups can you do?" I was like, "I don't know, about 30 good ones." He was like, "Come on, let's go." So that was another surreal moment. I'm doing push-up contest with Guy Ritchie here. I won, of course. Sorry, Guy.
Oops. Okay. For the record, Daniel won.
Yeah, Daniel won.
Well, it just must mean so much to you that you've been a part of so many incredible projects from Atlanta to Coliseum
Mm,
to Cobra to Odyssey, Mobland. Now you're in Fountain of
yeah.
Youth. My goodness. Have you been a part of what projects have been some of your personal favorites to be a part of?
I think I came to acting super late. Okay, I was a classical ballet dancer, but I was trained with the Royal Ballet. I was with the Royal Ballet and then moved into contemporary neoclassical dance. Then I went into the music industry for a while, and then I went back to the West End. I was in Disney's Aladdin in the original cast there, and that was kind of my when I was trying to get into film acting, screen acting, because I always wanted to. But they're like, with your skill set, singing, dancing, now acting, you should go through the West End. So I was in Disney's Aladdin, it was incredible. Was principal, played Cassim for 3 years there. Uh, but then I made the move to screen, and Memory was the first when I first big movie again from Dan Hubbard, this incredible cast director. He just took a bet on me because I was like in my 30s and had never done any screen. And I landed. First of all, Atlanta was my first gig. So I'm on set with Donald Glover and Brian Tyree Henry and Lakeith Stanfield and Hiro Murai, who's incredible director of that unbelievable series, which I was a big fan of. But Memory was my first like Hollywood experience, and with Liam, so that was really a special memory. Having said that, Mobland, of course, was another Guy Ritchie project, but I did an independent film called All This Time. Uh, and it's just doing the festivals here. I play the lead. It's a supernatural thriller, um, and that is was such a special experience. It's clean. It's like cleaning up at the festivals now. It keeps winning Best Picture. I just won Best Actor for it, which was a really great honor for me because we put so much into it, and it's so nice to totally different experience to being on a Hollywood set, but it was just as valuable. And I'm really excited for that to be picked up, hopefully by Netflix or whoever the highest bidder. But that was another project, completely different, like virtually no budget. They spent all the money. Like we didn't really get paid very well at all, but we didn't care because the project was all put the money in the production value. So really great equipment, obviously, and the sets and locations were beautiful. Um, and it was just lovely to see both sides and do both sides of the industry. And yeah, I can't wait for that to come out and for people to see that. I think it's going to be a really special film.
All this time is the festival circuit and it's receiving all these great accolades. What does that mean to you to finally be a part of a project that's so special, so acknowledged?
Yeah, it's really special because again, because it was an independent film, because like we didn't have trailers, we lived on set. We lived in these mansions. At the end of a shoot day, like we'd all get together and we'd eat around this table together, the whole cast, the whole crew. And it became a family experience, and it was so we just put our hearts and souls into it. It's a beautiful, heart-wrenching, gorgeous. I mean, it's supernatural, but it's founded in real truth. The characters are so believable, and what they're dealing with is, even though it's in a supernatural setting, it's a very human take on the human experience. It's beautiful. So for it to be so getting so all these accolades, it's really special. It really is, and it's like I said, I can't wait for people to see it because I genuinely love the film. It's one of those movies that when the twist happens at the end, when I went to the first screening, Pack Cinema, there was an audible gasp. People are like, I can't believe the twist. Um, and then when the movie finishes, everyone was talking. Everyone's got their own versions of what's about to happen next and what was going on. But when it's one of those movies you want to watch again, because when you watch it again, you see it's right there in front of you. And it's done. Rob did such an incredible. He wrote as well and directed, and he did such an incredible job of putting it right there in front of you, but hiding it from you at the same time. You just so when you watch it again, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I not know? How did I not see that?
For films like All This Time where it's intense, I'm curious, how do you shake off a long day of filming? Maybe it's 30 push-ups against Guy Ritchie.
So it was it, that did that all that's always part of my regimen. I'm always that the physical activity is very important. But I think with All This Time, there was some really, as you said, some really emotional, difficult situations we had to deal with. And I actually learned something on that job as an actor, as you do. But Emily Rose Holt, who plays Grace, who was also won Best Actress for her portrayal of Grace, it was one really, really difficult scene we had to do. And I was getting myself into this place where I would stay. It was like that particular scene probably took about 4 hours to shoot because there's all these different turnarounds. And I felt I trying to keep myself in this place where she was like honestly right there, and it was all the emotion was there. But then when cut, she could snap out of it, and she was fine. And I would be like off to the side and just keep myself because it was so. I thought, no, this I need to stay here. But then after that, I was like, how did you just turn it off and on? And we just because that's something because I found that so taxing. At the end of the day, I was genuinely exhausted and a bit traumatized from living and feeling these emotions and tears and all this stuff coming up. And she was like, she taught me this trick about just breath, using the breath. And having since then, I've heard so many times. Tom Holland talks about it. Robert Downey Jr. talks about this, uh, using the breath to guide you into this emotional place, which is a really fascinating technique. And it's basically to do with taking the breath like you are crying, like what your body, when you have those shudders of your breath. And what happens when you put yourself in that breathing space, your body then informs the mind and the soul, and it comes. It's so incredible. Then at the end you can stop, have a chat, have a cup of tea, everything's fine, and then watch before the take, get your breathing going again, and off we go. It's a really valuable technique to any actors that might be listening to this. Study that the breath work because it really does help you get there, and much less taxing.
What's next for you? Have you been busy working on some projects right now?
Yes. So next is the Family Plan 2 with Mark Wahlberg. Again, it's Skydance and an Apple movie, and that we shot that in Paris. It was just so much fun. I play this French hitman called Jules, who's hunting him down, and I got to drive through Paris in this. I mean, we're talking they we did night shoots around the Sacre-Cœur, like around the Eiffel Tower. It was mind blowing that they got these locations. And I'm in there in this stunt car with this incredible driver, Nico from Los Angeles, an incredible stunt crew on that film. And we were just like the wet all the pavements. We're like, doing donuts and flying around the Sacre-Cœur handbrake. And I'm like leaning out of the car with this double barrel shotgun, going down these little streets, like I mean, it was like this was dream stuff as like a little boy. And I'm meant to look like really angry and like really like this hard, dangerous man, but I just wanted to laugh and smile and giggle the whole time because it was just so much fun. So much fun.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you continue to do on our screens?
It's I honestly, and I say this all the time, I've been very lucky to have a wonderful fan base that followed me through music and dance and now screen acting. And I've really, one of the main driving forces is because I feel so supported and so loved by these people and touched by them. I just want to make them proud, I hope I am, because it's because of that support and that love that I get from them that allows me to like go, no, I got this, because there's time. Acting is a crazy game, and there's time. So much rejection, as all these actors will tell you, working actors, like you're going to get more no's and yeses. So when I get my big yes, and I've been very lucky to have quite a few of them now. It's them that are always like, yes, yes, Dan, we believe in you, and this is why. And I just want to say thank you from my heart to all the people that have supported me and guided me and always lifted me when I was down and just said, you've got this. So yeah, from my heart, thank you.